Alright, I've owned this bandsaw for a very long time, and I've never taken the time to read the manual. A few things that I was noticing are that the blade wasn't sitting in this little holder. It was sitting more on the outside. I got this all loosened up here. It was sitting on the outside of these little blocks. If you look in here, those little blocks, it wasn't in the slot. So I decided I should probably take it all apart and try to see how does this actually work. So if you look down in the bottom here, there is another guide down here, which I've got moved in. There is a rod right here that it sits on. And there's also an adjusting screw. If I can get in here with the video to see. Maybe from the bottom here. There's two adjusting screws down here. There's this one and this one. The lower one is the one that moves the guide in and out. As you're looking at it, it would be this one here. And then this one over here is what moves this bearing support. And it's going to be hard to see. But I loosened everything up and I put some graphite lube on the shafts. Everything moves now. I didn't realize that there's a set screw here, duh, and a set screw down here that you have to loosen up before those turn. Same deal up here. Set screw right here that does this piece. And then this one here, where was the set screw for that? I think it was on the back side. Set screw right here for this top bearing. The other thing I didn't know is that this right here is a screw you turn to adjust the tracking of this blade. And if it is too far this way, you give this a quarter turn. So this was straight up and down. I gave it a quarter turn. And now we're tracking right on the center. You're supposed to adjust this one until it's just touching the blade. Same thing with the bottom one. So now I've got them set in, so when you rotate it, those bearings don't move. But if you give it a little bit more, the bearings start to move. So see how that one just kind of moves a little bit? You're supposed to not really touch until you start putting pressure on the blade. That's when it's supposed to start hitting the bearings. You're also supposed to have, it's going to be hard to get the camera in here, focus. This upper guide here should be, see the edge of it right there, should be 1/32 of an inch in from the deepest part of the blade. It's going to be a little tough to see here. Turn the right screw. Come on, focus. There you go. And you won't really be able to see. So you can see the bottom of that. There you go. So I can kind of move this right there. I'm going to eyeball that one at 30 seconds. And do the same thing with the bottom one. Bottom one might be a little bit easier to see here. I don't think this bottom one has been even close to where it's supposed to be the last 10, 15 years. I don't know. I'm kind of tight in with that one. Looks like I may have to widen those out a tad. I'll take a look and see how that goes. There are screws in the end here, which you want to loosen up. Should have probably done this before I fired up the old camera here. So loosen those up, and that'll loosen up those blocks in there. And you're supposed to get them somewhat snug and then rotate it around a few times. Oops. Oh yeah, that's way nice. I'll do the same thing with the top ones, which I don't know how those are adjusted. Oh, screws on the back side here. Looks like a few screws on the back side. Focus. There. I'll loosen those up and do the same thing. Alright, so what they want you to do is to adjust these. There's two blocks on here so they're evenly on each side of this blade without, you kind of stick your fingers and you pinch them together while they're loose. And you get them I kind of rotated it by hand a little bit, just enough that it would kind of knock them a little bit further away. And then check to make sure they were fairly close on both sides. Same deal down here. Loosen up these 2 set screws, which hold those blocks. Do the same thing so they're kind of evenly spaced. And I've never ever adjusted these. I've changed the blade on this thing probably dozens of times and never adjusted any of this stuff. Looked on the web, couldn't find a whole lot of information. Finally went to my manual. So we'll see. You're supposed to put the guard on now. We'll see if it's functional. Oh, the other thing, put the blade on. This is about a 1/2 inch wide. So I've got this cranked up to the 1/2 inch setting. Put the new blade on so that the teeth are cutting down. This isn't a new blade, I guess you can tell, but adjust this top and bottom so it's just that it's not touching. Adjust this so that the section here, focus, doesn't want to focus, there you go. So that this section here, the flat section right here, is 1/32 inside of the teeth, so you're getting the kerf of these 2 teeth hacking into that. So you can adjust that out just so it doesn't touch top and bottom. But really, I didn't realize you needed a, what size is this here? 1/8 inch Allen wrench. This thing does not want to focus at all. 1/8 inch Allen wrench. I did not realize that was a tool I was supposed to have on this thing. So let's see if this works. So seems pretty good. I can see that they're actually in the guard. It'll keep this together. It'll be a lot easier to saw now without having to worry about where that blade is going. So hope this helps. So I didn't find anything on the internet about how to adjust the blade when you change the blade. So I've been using this thing for years incorrectly. I'm just glad I didn't wreck anything on it. It seems like all the bearings move, and I lubed all these shafts up when I took it all apart. So I think we're good for another 20 years. Have a good day.